Back to politics now. Indiana Governor Mike Pence announcing today that he stands behind Republican presidential candidate Ted Cruz. It's the latest development in the Texas senator's campaign this week as he hopes for a strong showing on Tuesday in Indiana's primary. Governor Pence praising Cruz's record in the Senate as he announced his endorsement of him.
I really admire the way Ted Cruz has been willing to stand up for taxpayers in opposing runaway spending, deficits, and debt, calling for and leading on repealing Obamacare. It's for those reasons and just as much in support of the principles that have always animated my public service that I'm voting for Ted Cruz in the upcoming Republican primary.
I'm joined now by Alan Colmes, host of The Alan Colmes Show, and Mike Gallagher, syndicated radio host, both Fox News contributors. Does this help Ted Cruz, Mike, in Indiana?
Well, I thought what was very notable was what he said before he said he was voting for Ted Cruz. He basically praised Donald Trump, seemed to be hedging his bets. Now, that's a very unique voice for somebody who's not voting for Trump, because most of the never-Trumpers go right after him and denigrate him. A lot of the never-Trump crowd could take, I think, a page from Mike Pence's playbook and be respectful for all the Republicans if you call yourself a Republican.
Okay, I'm going to play that in a minute. I want your reaction first, Alan.
It's called hedging your bets. This does him no good. Mike Pence has a 43% approval rating in Indiana, down from 60-something% because of the LGBT issue. He's unpopular. Could Cruz surround himself with any more unpopular, less popular people than Carly Fiorina and Mike Pence?
Oh,
I mean, this is... It doesn't do him any good in a state where he's not popular.
No,
it's not going to happen.
Okay, so when you listen to this and what he said, and by the way, he said this before he said he was endorsing Ted Cruz, is it because he also wants to keep his political aspirations alive in his home state? Listen to this.
I particularly want to commend Donald Trump, who I think has given voice to the frustration of millions of working Americans with a lack of progress in Washington, D.C. And I'm also particularly grateful that Donald Trump has taken a strong stand for Hoosier jobs.
It almost looked to me like he actually had written out what he was going to say, and he looked down. I don't know if that's true or not.
He had notes in front of him.
He had notes in front of him, Mike, and it was so very important the way in which he said it. Was this to save his own skin, too? Well,
that could be one view. The other view could be this is the way a Republican should act about Republican nominees.
But that's not really the way it works. When you endorse somebody, you come out full-throttled and you say, I am behind this person, and you don't mention the other candidate first.
You don't have to rip the other candidate.
You don't have to mention the other candidate.
But they mention the other one first, Alan.
I know.
That's like saying, well, okay, I don't want to upset the Trump people. Maybe Trump will be the nominee, so... And I'm not that crazy about Cruz. I'll say it this way.
I think it's likely to kind of alienate both sides, to tell you the truth. It's a tough endorsement.
So you think it might be a wash then in Indiana? It doesn't help or hurt?
I do. Listen,
I think it hurts.
Okay.
You got Bobby Knight in your corner. That's a big boost too. You know.
The guy who threw the Sharon choke to player. That guy.
Would you stop with
that's the guy. And the guy who says, "I love Trump because he might use the A-bomb." That guy, great.
All right. Speaking about another controversy, comedian Will Ferrell's representatives deny that he's getting ready to portray Ronald Reagan during the former president's battle with Alzheimer's. The possibility of such a movie drawing strong criticism from the Reagan family and a bunch of other people, too. Ferrell's spokesman releasing a statement recently saying this Reagan script is one of a number of scripts that had been submitted to Will Ferrell, which he had considered. While it is by no means an Alzheimer's comedy, as has been suggested, Mr. Ferrell is not pursuing this project. It was interesting, Mike, because that came out maybe just about an hour or two ago.
The fact that it would have even been considered is proof positive that Hollywood has no shame when it comes to denigrating a beloved figure like Ronald Reagan or conservatives. There would never be a project like that that mocked James Brady, for example, after his horrible, tragic shooting. No one's going to make fun of Democrats from the right like this in this way. It was awful, and I'm glad decency prevailed and cooler heads emerged, and apparently he's going to walk away from the project. That's the way it should be.
This was a terrible idea. How could he have even thought about doing this in the first place? And secondly, it's Will Ferrell. What do you mean it wasn't going to be a comedy?
He's not exactly Laurence Olivier.
I mean, it's Will Ferrell.
And besides, if you take away the political slant on the whole thing, I mean, thousands and thousands of families struggle with Alzheimer's.
Absolutely.
That's right.
They don't think it's funny at all.
This is not a left-right thing.
No,
this is just, it was in bad taste, should never have happened, and this project should be killed now.
This transcends politics, and it's the right thing to do.
I don't know what's going to happen to your guys' reputations now, because you actually agreed on this. So walk out, holding hands, be nice to each other.
No wonder you're ending the segment.
Have a good weekend.
You too.